Where is your mind? You might be thinking, it's in my brain, right? Imagine you're about to speak in public. Your head might be rehearsing what you're about to say, but what's happening in your body? Does your heart race, or do your hands shake? Do you get a sudden burst of energy, or butterflies in your stomach? And what happens when the crowd claps and cheers for you as you walk out on stage? You might feel a sensation of openness and confidence just wash all over you. Your mind is not just the brain, but it's a whole body experience and a relational one too. Hi, my name is Brooke. I'm the founder and owner of Living on Purpose, and we can help you stress less, accomplish more, and love the way you show up to the people and projects you care about the most. In my own journey of recovering from PTSD, I went to so many counselors, and I always found myself disappointed. Conversations I was having only touched the surface of my problem. It just felt like I was running on a track, and I kept tripping over the same hurdles over and over again. It wasn't until I discovered the cutting-edge field of mind-body connection and building a healthy, resilient nervous system that I truly started to see my life and relationships transform. Resilience is the ability to stay flexible, open, and responsive to whatever life throws our way. We do this by anchoring ourselves into the flow state. You can identify if you're in the flow state by asking yourself this question: what does the unknown feel like to you? Does it feel scary, overwhelming, or does it feel like an adventure? If it feels like an adventure, that's a good indication that you're in your flow zone. It's the place where you are your most confident and your true, authentic self. Decisions from this place come from your values and not what other people think of you. This is the place where you can find strength to face challenges with courage and curiosity instead of being limited by what could go wrong. When people and projects don't go your way, you're able to remain calm and compassionate so you can be proud of how you handled a difficult situation instead of needing to apologize for your reaction later. This is a state of mind that helps us problem solve, communicate, and respond to the events of life in our best possible self. Now I'm going to walk you through a short exercise so that you can experience the flow state for yourself. At any time during this exercise, feel free to pause the video if you need a little bit of extra time for a specific step. Now I'm going to read you a list of words, and I'd like you to pick one word that resonates with you the most. Calm, confidence, connectedness, curiosity, courage, compassion, clarity, creativity. When you have your word, I'd like you to take a minute and remember the earliest memory that you had that feeling. There is no right or wrong memory. Now close your eyes, and I'm going to ask you, what do you see? Where are you? What colors do you notice? Are there any particular shapes, objects, buildings? What people are you with? That's perfect. Now let's move into your sense of sound. Do you hear any voices? Any background noises? Music? That's right. Next is the sense of touch and the sense of smell. Does the weather feel hot or cold? Do you feel the sun or the wind on your skin? What does the scene smell like? Is that smell pleasant or is it unpleasant? Lastly, I'd like you to pay attention to any sensations in your body. Are your muscles feeling tense or relaxed? What are you noticing in your chest and in your heart region of your body? Now what do you notice in your gut? Now I'm going to invite you to pause the video and stay in the feeling of this memory for as long as you'd like. I hope you enjoyed that experience. This exercise helps us to access our flow state. However, when we're dealing with stress, getting into this state becomes more challenging. Next, we're going to talk about why. On your screen, you'll see something called a window of tolerance. This is a tool that we can use to visualize how sensitive we are to daily experiences at a given time. The graph here represents our emotional ups and downs. Notice the flow zone that we just talked about. It's anchored into the inside of the window. Then we have the upper and lower limits of our window. These describe the times when our nervous system is more sensitive to getting stuck into a stress response: fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. On the upper edge, we'll be prone to more reactive states like anger, irritability, or anxiety. On the lower edge of the window, we will be more prone to underfunctioning states like feeling frozen, shut down, or depressed. On the next image, we see two windows of tolerance, and on both of these windows, bricks are lining the edges. These bricks represent stressors that a person experiences. This could be things like your doctor's appointment next week, Jimmy's soccer practice, or a project you might need to finish at work. The open space in between the bricks is the capacity we have to respond well to unexpected events or stimulus in our lives. In the image with less bricks or stressors, you can see this person has a wide range of flexibility. They can experience the ups and downs throughout their day easily. The image on the right represents someone who has many stressors. This person has a more narrow window. This means it's harder for them to anchor into that flow zone. This person may have more sensitive nervous system, or perhaps they have a more demanding job, many children, a sick parent, or some other significant life event that's using up their capacity to process life's load. Next, I'll go over the types of stress that can get in the way of being in our flow zone. Then we'll talk about some ways that you can create more space and flexibility within your window. We have 3 types of stress that we can experience. If someone talks to me about stress, it's typically what I like to call B stresses. These are the bad things that happen to us. These are things like strained relationships, or job loss, natural disasters, or other events where something unwanted is added into a person's experience. The next type of stress are C stresses, or constructive stresses. These are good stressors that we choose into for a greater purpose. This is where self-development and personal growth happens. These can include choices like getting married, starting a family, taking a promotion at work, or setting a fitness goal. Although these are good things to happen, they still take up capacity within our nervous system. Lastly, we have A stresses. These are the absence of things we really need to thrive. These are the trickiest stressors to identify because they are absent from us. We might not realize they're missing or that we need them. These are experiences like feeling supported, known, or understood, feeling like we belong somewhere or accepted, to have your boundaries respected. No matter how wide or narrow your personal window is, you can always strengthen your window of tolerance and make it easier to get into your flow zone. Lastly, I'd like to talk about some ways that we can create more capacity within your unique window of tolerance. The first thing that we can do to widen your window of tolerance is optimize your internal environment by practicing mind-body connection exercises. When we are stressed, it sends a hormonal signal through the body and it disrupts the mind-body connection. These practices help us repair the nervous system and make it easier to access that flow state. We can optimize sleep and nutrition. We can perform exercise, both cardiovascular and heavy work through weightlifting. We can learn about your sensory profile so you know exactly what sensory input or deprivation will best support your nervous system regulation. The second strategy we could use to create resilience and to optimize our window of tolerance is to manage our external environment. And we can do that through things like boundary setting, adjusting our expectations, creating routines, changing jobs, downsizing a more expensive home to a less expensive home,
These are all things that we can change on the outside of us to help decrease the amount of stressors that we are experiencing on a day-to-day basis. The third thing we can do to increase our resilience and window of tolerance is to reduce the amount of stresses running in the background of our lives. We do this by addressing our A stressors. A stressors are underlying stresses. This means they make B and C stressors feel harder than they need to be. A stressors are the absence of things we really needed to thrive. And these missing experiences create holes in our soft skills as we become adults. For example, Chad might want to start a business. This is a C stressor. He chooses into this stressor because he thinks it will make his life better. But he has a problem. He's terrified of giving sales pitches. He feels uncomfortable talking with strangers and asking them about their business and how his product can help them. What Chad doesn't realize is that his fear of approaching strangers comes from an A stressor, having his voice being respected. He grew up believing that nothing he thought or said mattered. Because of this, he never learned the skill of asserting his voice, even if he really believes someone could benefit from what he has to say. By addressing his A stressor, using and honoring his voice, he can reduce the amount of energy and effort it takes for him to pursue his business, and he can overall increase the space and capacity he has in his window of tolerance.
If you're interested in learning more about your own A stressors, you can take my free Skills for Resilience assessment at the link below. You'll receive an in-depth description of each skill for resilience and practical actions that you can take to build those skills. If you have any questions about this topic, I'd love to hear from you. I'd like to invite you to scroll down to the bottom of this page and sign up for my email list. Email list recipients will receive the latest videos and conversations about this topic, as well as any tools and resources I make available on my website. I'll see you next time.